Hi, hello everyone. Good afternoon, friends. How are you doing? Hope you are doing well. Hope you are learning, getting knowledge through these online video lectures. And previously we have discussed four topics, and today I stand before you to discuss the fifth topic, that is tenses. Everybody of you already heard about tenses. You know there are three types of tenses named present tense, past and future tense. So today we are going to look into detail about each and every type of tense. But before getting to the types of tenses, first let us understand the meaning of the word tense. So what is a tense? A tense is a word that is derived from the Latin word tempus, which means time. So tense is the word taken from the Latin word tempus. It means time. Have you ever thought of the word time? We already know there are three types of times. First time is ongoing time. I mean the works which are going on now. The second type of time is past time, which is finished. And the third type of time is future time, which is yet to happen or about to happen. So we are going to discuss today about the time. Tense is nothing but time. So let us look into the definition of the tense. So tense is a word that is derived from the Latin word tempus. Tempus means time. And one more use of tense is it shows the time of the action, when the action got finished. So the tense shows the time at which the action happened. By identifying the tense, by observing the tense of any sentence, we can easily identify when that action got happened, when that action was performed, when the action was done can easily be identified by using the tense of any statement. So this is the use of tense, to identify the time of the action, when the action get completed. And as you already aware of that, tenses are of three types. Number one is present tense, number two past tense, number three future tense. As I already mentioned, present tense is used to indicate ongoing actions. Here you can see the definition of the present tense. A present tense is used to indicate the ongoing actions, the actions which are happening at this moment. See, at this moment what is happening? I am teaching. It is an ongoing action. It is happening now. And what is one more ongoing action now? You are listening. You are listening video related to English. So it is an ongoing action. So such type of actions are known as present tense. So present tense is used to refer the actions which are happening at this moment. Next, present tense includes four types. Not only present tense, all these three tenses are again divided into four types each. Namely, simple present, present continuous, present perfect, and present perfect continuous. And the four types of past tense are, you have to just replace the present with the past. But let us look into present tense in detail, and the four types of present tense also will be discussed now. So let us get into the details of types of present tense. As I already told, there are four types in present tense, namely A. Simple present, B. Present continuous, C. Present perfect, and D. Present perfect continuous. So we have to discuss about each one of the type in detail now. So first let us discuss about simple present, the first type in present tense. So there is a structure for every tense, every type of tense in present tense. Not only present tense, I already told each tense is divided into four. So totally there are 12 tenses. And for those 12 tenses we have structures, and we have to learn that the most important thing in this topic. So without these structures you cannot frame sentences. Even in your grammar also you will frequently get about the structures. So without structures we cannot learn English grammar. So it is basic, fundamental, important things. So please listen carefully. The structure of simple present is subject. So S refers to subject, and then V1, and then O. It is not zero, it is O. O refers to object. In our yesterday's topic, in the previous video, we have learnt about subject and object. In the last topic, the sentence. We have already discussed the topic sentence. In that sentence topic, I told subject is the doer of an action. The one who performs the action is subject, and the one who receives the action or the one for whom the action is done is known as object. So here you have to remember that topic. So coming to the structure once again, it is subject plus V1. V1 refers to the first form of verb, that is present tense, because we are dealing with the present tense, so we have to use V1 here. So structure is subject plus V1 plus object. You have to note down the structures in your notes. The simple present tense structure is a subject plus V1 plus object. So how to write examples based on this structure now? See, here are the examples. I have written, I drink milk every morning. If you observe the sentence carefully, here the action word, I mean the verb is drink. It is in first form because the three forms of drink is drink, drank and V3 is drunk. So here drink is obviously V1, and coming to I, it is subject. How to decide the subject? Doer of the action. Here who is drinking the milk? I. So I is the subject and drink is V1, and the remaining part of the sentence is regarded as object. So this sentence contains this structure, and this structure belongs to this tense. So finally I can say that this statement or this sentence is in simple present tense. In this way you have to identify the tense of any given statement. Any statement that is given to you, you should be able to identify the tense of the statements after finishing this topic. So this is the main objective and expected outcomes of this video lecture. Coming to the second example, he goes to library on Fridays. Observe the structure here now, because I have written these statements based on the structures. Coming to he, it is the subject, and goes, it is V1. If you add S or ES to V1, it is also V1 only. Actually go is V1, but after adding ES also it becomes V1, but not V2, V3 or anything else. So he subject, goes V1, and the remaining part of the sentence is known as object. So subject, V1, object. Now which tense do this sentence contain? Obviously simple present. And coming to third one, the earth revolves round the sun. Actually some people may tell that revolves around the sun, but it is not around, it is just round. The earth revolves round the sun. Here subject is the earth, revolves is V1. Just now I told, here actually V1 verb is revolve, but I added S. Here I added ES to the V1 go. So even after adding ES or S, it becomes V1 only. Actually in the topic subjects, in the previous videos I have explained about when to add S or ES to the verbs. When the subject is third person singular, we add S or ES to the subjects. That is why I have added ES here. Here also I added yes, because subject is third person singular. Here the earth is also third person singular. Okay, in pronoun topic we have discussed all this. So here the earth subject, revolves V1, round the sun is object. So if you identify the structures carefully, all these three statements are in simple present tense form. And one more thing, when do we use simple present tense? This is most important, because it is not our wish. We cannot write statements as per our wish. There is a specific function for each and every tense among the 12 tenses. Now the function of the simple present tense is, if you have to use simple present tense, or simple present tense is used to express our habitual actions. Habitual actions means the actions are the works which we do regularly, which we frequently do, which we often do. See, examples, I drink milk every day. It is my frequent action. I regularly do that action. My habitual actions, not only my, everybody's habitual actions should be expressed in only simple present tense. You cannot say, I am drinking milk every day. That is wrong, because it is a habitual action. It is your habit. So all your habits should be expressed in simple present tense form only. Even he goes to library on Fridays, that is his habit. Every Friday he goes to library, so it must be expressed in simple present tense only. And one more function of simple present tense is it is used to express universal truths. What are universal truths? It will be true if you go anywhere in the universe. The earth revolves around the sun, wood floats in the water, even honey is sweet. Such type of examples are universal truths, and they must be expressed in simple present tense always. So finally, the structure subject plus V1 plus object. If you find any statement in this form, the tense is nothing but simple present tense. Let us get into the second one. So now let us discuss about the second type in present tense. The second type is present continuous form, and here is the structure. What is the structure? Subject plus am or is or are plus verb 4 plus object. So verb 4 is nothing but ing forms, which is known as present progressive form. So first of all, let us understand in which case do we use present continuous. So present continuous is used for ongoing actions, the actions which are happening currently. Suppose I am teaching, it is an ongoing action, and you are listening online lecture, that is an ongoing action. So such type of actions should always be expressed using present continuous, and here is the structure. If you observe these examples carefully, every example is written based on this structure. So here Rajesh is subject, as it is singular I have taken is as my helping verb, and going is present progressive form V4, and this is object. In the same way, all the four examples, I subject, am is my option for the subject I, asking is verb 4 form, and a doubt is object. And here in the third, subject is Preeti and is helping verb, dancing is V4 present progressive, and on the stage remains as object. Coming to fourth one, they subject are helping verb, listening is V4, and the remaining part of the sentence is object. And even in fifth one, my teacher subject, my option is singular as it is singular, and conducting is V4, and exam is object. So totally all these five statements tense is a simple present tense only. The recognition, identification is very simple. You have to compare these examples with the structures, if there is subject or not. Then helping verb, only B forms. See, observe the framing of the structure. Subject and objects are mandatory for all the 12 tenses structures, and we have to be careful with the helping verb and main verb only, as the action is in continuous form. As the action is being continued, we should always use V4. See, whenever you get the name continuous, then the verb must be in fourth form only, ing form only. So that is fixed, and then V4 never comes without helping verb. So we have to write helping verb, as the tense is present tense. We are discussing about present, we have to use present tense helping verb. See, subject object common, as it is present tense I took present tense helping verbs, as it is continuous I have written V4. So it is easy to remember the structure also, and very easy to write examples based on the structure. Okay, let us get into the third one, present perfect. And now the third type in present tense is present perfect, and here is the structure, subject plus has or have plus V3 plus object. Here we have two options, has and have. If the subject is singular, we have to select has, and if the subject is plural, we have to consider have. But there is one exception. If the subject is I is singular, but we should not consider has as per the rule. So because I always accepts plural helping verb have, even though the subject is singular. And coming to examples, first one, they have attended to the seminar. See here, subject is they, because who attended to the seminar? They. The action is done by them, so they is the subject. And have is my helping verb, have form. Attended is V3 as per the structure, and the remaining sentence stands as object. So this example is framed based on the given structure. Now I can say this sentence is in present perfect tense. And then second one, I have ordered them to come here. See here, subject is I, it accepts only plural have form, and ordered is V3, them is object, and it is extra information, or else you can consider the whole as an object. See, it is also based on the structure, and the tense of this statement is also present perfect. The simple way to identify the tense of present perfect is very easy. If you find has or have in any statement, then the tense of that particular statement is only present perfect. We can easily identify in such a way. And Smita has failed in her exams. Here subject is Smita. Subject should always be either noun or pronoun. So here Smita is noun, and Smita failed. It is has, helping verb, have form from the structure, and next V3 is failed, and then in her exam remain as object. So all three sentences contain the tense of present perfect. So framing of the structure, let us observe that. So first, subject and object common, as per the previous tenses also we have seen subjects objects common for every tense, and here we are discussing about present perfect. Already in the previous videos we have learnt about perfect verbs under the topic helping verbs, auxiliary verbs. What are perfect verbs? Has, have and had. These three are regarded as perfect verbs. So as we are discussing present perfect now, we have to use those perfect verbs which we have discussed in our earlier videos. See, present tense perfect verbs are only two. Of course, had is also perfect verb, but we use that in past perfect. As we are discussing, we are dealing about present perfect, we have to use either has or have. And we have discussed one more rule for have forms. What is that rule? Have forms always accept V3. So I have written here V3, and last object is common. So this is the way to frame the structure, and examples must be practiced based on the given structure. And coming to the last type in present tense, it is present perfect continuous form. As the name contains continuous, the verb should always be V4. Even in present continuous also, we have seen that the main verb contains present progressive form V4. So here also continuous, so verb is V4, and structure subject object common. As it is continuous, I have written V4, and observe the name carefully, present perfect. So definitely we have to use perfect verbs in present tense, which we discussed earlier. So what are perfect verbs in present tense? Has and have. Whatever we used here. Here also name present perfect. Here also name present perfect. So definitely we have to consider these two helping verbs, and we have to use them in our structure. See, here has, have accepted V3. As per the previous topic, have forms accept V3, and here also present perfect, there are have forms, has, have, they accept V3, but here we should not write V3 because our tense is in continuous form, progressive form, so we cannot use V3 there. But the rule, after perfect verbs we should use V3, but the name doesn't allow us to write V3. Then what we should do? We have to add one word called been. If you add been to these two perfect verbs or have forms, then we can write V4. So very simply, has or have regarded as present perfect, and V4 is regarded as continuous. Thus the name has been successfully transformed into the structure. And coming to the examples, the subject is I. Have been, I have selected from the structure. As I is singular subject, it accepts have. I selected have been, and V4 is suffering, ing forms or V4, and this is object. And coming to second one, she is the subject. As it is singular, I have selected has been from the structure. And what is next in the structure? V4. So asking, ing forms V4, and the remaining sentence remains as object. So this is about present tense and its four types. And coming to the second tense, that is past tense. So already we discussed present tense, it is used for ongoing actions. Now past tense. So what is the use of past tense? As I already told, past tense is used to refer past actions, the actions which have been completed already. See, this morning we have completed our breakfast, and this afternoon we have completed our lunch. Yesterday we have done so many works. So in the same way, we use past tense to complete our habitual actions even in the past also. Let us consider the four types in past tense. A. Simple past. B. Past continuous. C. Past perfect. D. Past perfect continuous. These are the four types in it, and let us discuss the first one, simple past. It is used to refer past actions, past finished actions, past completed actions, and there is one more use also, past habitual actions. If you observe carefully, even in simple present tense also I have told that we use simple present to express habitual actions, but here it is different. It is past habitual actions. There is difference between present habitual actions and past habitual actions. The present habitual actions is I play cricket every weekend, that is my present habit, but every person will have past habits also. We used to do that once, but we have stopped now. See, suppose I used to drink milk once, now I am drinking coffee. So I have stopped drinking milk, that is my past habit. So to express our past habits also we use a simple past. Two functions of simple past. One is to express the past completed finished actions, and the second one is our past habits which we have frequently done once upon a time but not now. So let us understand the structure of simple past. As we already know the structure of simple present, it is subject plus V1 plus object, but here just we are changing the main verb V1 into V2, because there simple present we used V1, as it is a simple past I am using V2. See, subject plus V2 plus object. See examples, I is subject, wrote is V2, and then notes, my notes is object. And in the same way, they is subject, gave is V2, and me object, it is extra information, or you can consider as an object. Now after identifying the structure, after comparing these two statements with the structure, we can easily say that these two statements are in the tense of simple past. So identification, after all the topic, after discussing, after finishing this topic, the expected outcome, you should not forget that we have to identify, we should be able to identify the tense based on the structures. Okay, let us get into the second one in the past tense, and let us discuss the second and third types of past tense in detail. So the second one, past continuous. The structure is subject plus was or were plus V4 plus object. Do you remember the structure of present continuous? What it was? Subject plus am or is or are plus V4 plus object, as we have discussed earlier. What is the difference between present continuous and past continuous now? In the structure, the only difference is that we have changed the helping verbs. We have written instead of am, is, are, now we used was or were. See, there we used present tense B forms as it is present continuous. Here we are using past tense B forms because it is a past continuous. So framing structure is very easy if you remember in this way. If you by heart, after some days you may forget, but with the name you can frame structure. So need not to by heart. Past continuous. So definitely subject objects are common. We have to use past tense B forms, and the term continuous, as I already told many times, if you hear the term continuous, then the verb must be V4. Need not to think which verb should I use, because you have to use only V4 after seeing the word continuous. So here very simple, instead of am, is, are, we used was, were, and as it is continuous, I have written V4, subject and objects are common. Now with the help of this structure, I have written here some examples. So let us understand, let us compare this structure and examples. See, here subject is I, and I have taken was as my helping verb. Why? Because here the subject is singular. For singular subjects we have to choose was, and for plural subject we have to choose were. So subject is I and was is helping verb, past tense B form from structure, and the next is V4. So I have written sleeping, ing forms are V4, and this is object. Coming to the second example, they were doing their project work. They is subject, were. See, here subject is plural. They doesn't refer one person, it refers to group of people. So I have chosen were, and doing is V4, and the remaining sentence except subject and verb is object. So finally, This is the example for past continuous. And what is the use of past continuous? In which case do we use past continuous? That is very important. So past continuous is used in the case the action is started at some point of time in the past tense but is continued up to that moment in the past. So in that case we use past continuous. Once again I am telling the case when to use the past continuous. The past continuous is used to express the actions which are started already in the past tense and are continued up to certain point of time in the past tense. Next, coming to past perfect, the third type. Here the structure, subject plus had plus V3 plus object. So compare again with the present perfect structure. See, present perfect structure is subject plus has or have plus V3 plus object. Now what is the difference between these two? Only the helping verb again. See, if you change the helping verb, it means you have changed the tense of that particular sentence. So be cautious, be vigilant with the helping verb. See, observe the name carefully. Past perfect. Definitely we have to use perfect verb in past tense. We have only one perfect verb in past tense, as we already discussed in our third topic. What is past tense perfect verb? Only had. That is why I have chosen had here, and we have rule for perfect verbs. What is that rule? Perfect verbs always accept V3 after them. So I have written V3 here, as we have no other option. We have to use only V3. Here I have written V3 and object is common. So finally the structure, subject plus had plus V3 plus object, and here are the examples to compare. Subject is I had brushed my teeth. Had is helping verb. See, even for our subject may either be singular or plural, we have only one option because only one past tense perfect verb is available. But in present tense we have two options based on the number of the subject. Here brushed is V3 form and my teeth is object. Now let us understand in which case do we use past perfect. What is the use of past perfect? When we have in many other past tenses, why should we have past perfect? Why it is given? Why and when to use this past perfect? Let us understand a condition. Suppose two actions already finished in the past. Let us consider this statement. I had brushed my teeth. Already this action is over. Now I will add another sentence to this. I had brushed my teeth before I took my breakfast. If you observe carefully, here are two completed actions. I have brushed my teeth, it is completed action, and I took my breakfast, it is also finished action. Both actions are already over now. See, it is subject I, it is second form of verb, and it is object. So it is in simple past, as we have just discussed. Subject V to object makes simple past. So it is finished action and it is also finished action. But if you observe carefully, I have used here simple past structure, but here I have used past perfect structure. Why? Because there is a difference. The use of past perfect is when two actions happened next to next, immediately after another action, we have to use past perfect to denote the earlier action. I mean, two actions are already finished. Now we have to express which action happened first and which action happened next. In that case, we use past perfect. When two actions are finished, the first completed action must be in past perfect. See, before taking the breakfast, we all brush, right? So brushing is the earlier action. After brushing only, we will take our breakfast. So the earlier action is brushing the teeth and the later action is taking the breakfast. So the first happened action is brushing teeth. So I have mentioned the brushing teeth in past perfect tense, and the latter action is expressed using simple past. This is the use of past perfect, which is very important. You will get in your academics also. So once again I am repeating, past perfect is used to express which action happened first and which action happened next when we have two finished actions in the past. And observe one more example. We subject had is from the structure past perfect and completed is V3, because had always accepts V3, and the remaining sentence is considered as object. Even if you observe here, see, I have used simple past here, we subject, went V2, and this is object. Here I have used past perfect. The difference is also same. This is first completed action. We had completed our homework. After completing homework, then we went to bed. So it is later action. Later action should be in simple past, and before going to bed, this action happened first. The earlier action is expressed in past perfect. And third one, I had fallen seriously ill. I subject, had is helping verb, fallen is V3, and this is object. So after observing all these examples, we can say the tense of these three sentences are past perfect. And the fourth type in past tense, that is past perfect continuous. Here is the structure: subject plus had been plus V4 plus object. So in past perfect we used subject, had, V3 object. Now after had we cannot use V3, and observe the name continuous. So as I already told, if you hear the term continuous, verb should be V4, but after had we should not write V4. That is why I had added a word been. So the structure became like this: subject plus had been plus V4 plus object. And coming to examples, here the subject is I, had been. We have, as we have only one option, we have to use if our subject is either singular or plural. So helping verb, and developing is V4, all ing forms, and this app is remain as object. Next, in the second example, subject is they, and had been is helping verb, and playing is V4, games is object. So after observing these two examples also, we can identify the tense easily if you compare with the structure. See, framing of the structure is very important, as like the previous structure, subject and objects are common. Past perfect, so we have to use had. Continuous, so we have to use V4, but after had, V4 is not fair to write, so we have added been. And coming to the next one, that is third type of tense, future tense. So we have finished till now we have finished two, present tense 4 types and past tense 4 types. Now we are entering into the future tense. So future, the name itself is suggesting us the definition: the actions yet to finish, the actions which are about to finish will be expressed in future tense. So the definition, here we go with the definition. It is used, simple future tense is used to express the actions which are yet to happen, are not finished yet, and even not started also, of course, and the actions which are about to happen in near future. So it also includes 4 types, like simple future, future continuous, future perfect continuous, and totally 12 types of tenses. It is very easy to remember the names because we are just changing the tense name: simple present, present continuous, present perfect continuous. Now we have removed just present and we wrote future instead of present. Now let us get into the simple future. When do we use simple future? So simple future is used for the actions which are not started yet but will be started at some point of time in the future. In that case we use simple future. Let us discuss about the 4 types of future now. Let us discuss in detail about the types of future tense. The first one is a simple future, and here is the structure: subject plus will or shall plus V1 plus object. So already we know will and shall are future tense helping verbs, which we have already discussed in our helping verbs topic in our earlier videos. If you want, you can go through that video also. And coming to example, let us compare this example with the given structure. Here subject is I, and I have selected the helping verb will. You can take either shall also, both are same. You can use any one that you wish. And come here is V1, and the remaining statements stand as object. So the structure: subject plus will plus V1 plus object, as exactly I have written here in the structure. Now I can say this statement is in the tense simple future. And coming to the second one, they is subject. I have taken will again as our helping verb. Attend is V1, and the meeting tomorrow will be the object. So after comparing this statement with the structure, we can say this also is in the tense simple future. These 2 statements contain the tense of simple future. Now use. when and why we should use simple future. So simple future is used for the actions which are not started yet but will start at some point of the time in the future and will be finished at a certain point of the time in the future. So in that case we use simple future. And coming to the second type, which is future continuous. So as already I have told you, we have come across the term continuous here. So whenever you hear continuous, the verb should be ing form, that is V4. Subject and objects are common, and then as it is future, the name includes the word future, we have to use will and shall for sure. But will and shall are modal verbs, they never accept V4. So continuous we have to use V4, future tense we have to use will, but will never accepts V4. That is a rule we have discussed in our previous topic, because will and shall both are modal verbs. Modal verbs always accept V1, but we should not write V1 here because it is continuous. So will never accept V1, but in this structure we have to write V4. So only one possible condition, we have to add B. If you observe carefully, B is a B form and it is V1. So if you add that B, then we can add V4. So now as per the name, we have written the structure also. So will indicates future and V4 indicates continuous. Thus the name is successfully transformed into the structure. So in this way we have framed the structure, and based on this structure I have given here some examples. She is the subject here. She will be going to Delhi by this time tomorrow. See, I have selected will be. You can write either shall be also. Both modal verbs function in the same way. And here going is V4. As we heard the term continuous, the verb should always be in V4 form, and the remaining total sentence indicates object. Even it is also same. Mahesh is subject. Here I have used shall be. You can use will be also. And then discussing is V4. Remaining the total sentence come under object, and here the subject is I, will be is helping verb, and practicing is V4, and then driving will be object. Now use, when to use future continuous. So future continuous is used to express the actions which are already started at some point of time in the future and will be continued up to some other moment in the future. And this is the use of future continuous. And let us discuss the next two in future tense. So here are the last two types of future tense. Here is the third one, future perfect. So observe the name carefully, because this structure is framed based on the name. So first, what is the first word in the name? Future. So I have taken will, shall. Subject, objects are same, no need to tell again and again. So future, so I have taken will or shall. What is the next word? Perfect. So definitely we have to use perfect verbs, has, have, had, but here we have to use present tense because modal verbs accept present tense. So I have taken will. So will became will have, and here shall became shall have. This is the logic behind that. Why I used have? Here it is the very simple logic, because the name includes future perfect. Will indicates future and have indicates perfect. And perfect verbs always accept V3, so I have written V3, and object is common at last. So this is the way I have framed the structure. Subject first, will indicates future, have indicates perfect. Perfect verbs, there is a rule, it always accept V3, and object is as usual. So total structure is subject plus will have or shall have plus V3 plus object, and based on this structure there are some examples here. So here subject is I. It should be either noun or pronoun and doer of the action. And I have taken helping verb as will have, or you can use shall have also instead of this. And the verb is V3, because have is a perfect have form, accepts only V3 as per our structure. And the remaining sentence, the remaining part is the object. And coming to the second one, it is also same way. They is the subject, will have is the helping verb that I have chosen from the structure, and built is also V3, and their own house by the end of this year will be the object. So this is the structure and these are the examples. By comparing these sentences with this structure, we can easily recognize the tense that these two statements are in the tense of future perfect. Now, when should we use? When do we use future perfect? That is very important. So future perfect is used to express the actions which are started at some particular moment in the future and will be finished by some other moment in the future only. So in that case we use future perfect. If you observe these examples, you will understand very clearly. I will have finished this work. It means the work will be started already and the work will be finished also by the next week. So it will be started at some time in the future and it will be finished by some other time in the future. That is the use of future perfect. And coming to the very last one, the 12th one, future perfect continuous. So structure, by observing the name you can easily frame the structure. See, subject and objects are same as usual like previous 11 tenses. Now the first word is future. So I used future tense helping verbs will and shall, and the next word is perfect. So I used perfect verb have here, and then continuous. We have to use V4. Whenever you hear the term continuous, we should use V4. Then why I added been here? Here also same. As I already told the rule, have forms always accept V3. But here continuous is there. So we cannot write V3 here. We have to write V4. But have never accepts V4. It accepts only V3. So that is why I have added been, which is already in third form. So perfect verbs accept V3, rule is fulfilled, and present future perfect continuous accept V4. Hence this rule is also fulfilled. So structure is framed in this way. So finally the structure is subject plus will have been or shall have been plus V4 plus object. So based on this structure, here are some examples. Here subject is Gita. Because Gita is appearing, so the action is done by this person, so that person is subject. And I have chosen will have been as my auxiliary verb, and appearing V4 is appearing, and this part of the sentence is object. And coming to the second one, Manisha is the subject, shall have been is the option that I have taken. You can take even will have been also. And next one is V4, her test is object. Now let us understand the use of future perfect continuous tense. So future perfect continuous tense is used to express the actions which will be started at some particular point in the future but will be continuing up to some other particular point in the future. So by observing the examples, Gita will have been appearing to an interview. It means the interview will be started, but it will not be finished. If you observe the difference between these two, it will be started at some point, but will be finished but in other point. But in this case, the action will be started at some point of time in the future, but the same action will be continuing. It will be in progress in some particular point in future. That is the difference between future perfect and future perfect continuous. So by this we have come to end of this topic. Let us discuss once again the total glance of these tenses. Whatever we have discussed so far has been shown here. So total we have discussed 4 types of present, 4 types of past and 4 types of future. So all 4 types with names and structures have been shown here for a quick review. So you can observe here names and you can observe this column as structures, and even you can try few examples. Suppose I will give you one statement, you have to transform that one statement in the remaining 11 tenses. I go to school. This is the sample statement I have given here. Now you have to transform the same statement into the remaining 11 tenses based on these structures. This is the home task. If you can able to finish with this statement, you can take your own statement. Take some statement on your own and try to transform in the statement into the remaining tenses also. So before going to do that, You have to learn all these structures which will be very helpful for you. Without this you cannot do anything, you cannot learn grammar, you cannot even score more in English grammar also. So this will help you a lot. So note down everything neatly in your notes, and by the time you reach to the school, definitely we are going to check that also. Okay, so by this we have come to end of this session.